Hi, everyone, and welcome to August, which means we are so much closer to winter, which I'm very much looking forward to. I don't even think there's a fall season here because last time, well, I shouldn't say I don't think there is. When I arrived here in November of last year, it was like super scorching. I feel like I'm going to melt hot. And so I think that maybe they just don't do fall in Florida. Kind of like spring. It didn't really happen. You just went from like winter to like I'm going to melt. Anyways, I am always thinking that green looks good on me, but it really doesn't. I don't know. Every time I see green on the rack, I'm like, oh, that's going to be so great. And then I'll buy a green top and then I'll wear it and I'll be like, it's not bad, but it's just not really my color. But anyways, let's just talk about August and what's going on. Let's see. There is a There we go. All right. So, white peach season. So I never thought I'd find white peaches. So I was shopping. My mom and I were at BJ's, and there were peaches, which is like, Sam's Club or whatever, Costco. So I only wanted a couple peaches. So, but they come in like a case of a dozen. So of course, like I made it through like 3 or 4 peaches, and the rest of them all went bad. I just couldn't eat them fast enough, which is odd because I bet if it was chocolate, I probably would have been able to eat the entire carton of chocolate. But when it comes to fruit, I just don't eat it as quickly. Um, Also, August is that back to school season, which means there are a ton of sales. And I did buy a couple things this month that I will share with you. And end of summer sales, lots of thunderstorms, which I love listening to thunderstorms. In fact, like every time I write, I put on like those Sony Bose headphones I have, and I will just listen to thunder and rain. I find that much more calming. I've tried listening to, I don't know, you know how they have those different sound machines, and so they'll have the sound of, the forest or wind or something like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's just not the same. I just find rain much more relaxing. Anyways, I have mostly been staying indoors, and as a result, I've done actually a lot of work this month because I just haven't wanted to go outside. But there's just one more month, and I said until fall. Who knows? Maybe it will surprise me and the temperature will go down slightly, which would be amazing. Like today, it's a high of 98, I think. Yesterday was like 99. And then there's also that thing called the heat index, which I guess is separate. It's like the wind chill factor in, the Midwest, but now we have the heat index, which I guess somehow makes it hotter. I'm not really sure about the science behind all that. I just know like it's hot. So anyways, it is a long month. And if you live in a few certain states, and sorry, this only applies to the US, I think, there's no sales tax on Apple, which is also another reason why I made some purchases this month. All right, so you have new prompts waiting for you. I schedule it so that they go live at the same time I go live or a couple minutes before. And I thought it would be a nice time just to do a creativity reset. And this is mostly inspired by last month. I talked about how I really just wanted to figure out what I wanted to write, right? Like I had like all these ideas and cozy mysteries are dead. And I just thought, wow, that's really sad because I like spent all this time learning cozy mysteries and now no one's really publishing them. So anyways, I thought this would be a nice, like, little refresher. What else? Oh, I made some new stickers for you. So you have Romantasy stickers, just a 3-pack of those. So these are only available if you are inside of Planner Pixies. I honestly just don't have, I mean, I would sell them separately. I just don't have the energy to like put up a sales page and try to sell them and then give a download. So they're only available if you're inside of Planner Pixies. So that's what's happening with those. But I thought they were cute. Some of them are just kind of like fun little reader coffee shop kind of stickers. And then, some of them are witchy princes. So I feel like romantasy right now and dark romance are like really in. And I'm just not into either of those. I like the stickers. I think they're cute. I'm kind of just waiting for this trend to phase out. So, or I'm just ignoring all the books that are in there anyway. All right. So how do you print these on at home? You could do a Cricut. You can use a Silhouette. I honestly just find the lean to be the absolute easiest, only because it does the print and it does the cutting for you, which a lot of them don't. You have to like print it on one machine, put it through another, draw the little outlines, make sure that, and the, like, I don't know why the cutting just never works for me. It doesn't go through all the way, or it goes through halfway. And then, so the only issue with the Lean print sticker printer cutter is that the sheets, you have to use their sheets. Their sticker sheets. And the sticker sheets are kind of awful. So like the stickers right now, I don't know if you can see these stickers, but they're kind of like coming off. I don't know if you can see that. They're not very sticky. So they just sent an email out, I think 2 or 3 days ago saying, hey, we have some new stickers. They're going to be like way stickier. I don't know. We'll see. I ordered some to test them out for you, and hopefully those will be here next week. So I'll post a video of those as soon as I have them. Now, if you do want something separate, you can get Sticker Camp, and that is available as a separate purchase. And that will teach you how to make your own stickers, how to design them, how to sell them. The only difference is, I shouldn't say differences, they don't have templates in there. So all the templates are inside of Planner Pixies. Now, this fall, like I said, fingers crossed. So Lean can only be used. This is another issue with Lean. It can only be used on a mobile device, either on an app. So your phone or your iPad or your tablet or whatever. And I do find that annoying. Like I know Adobe InDesign and Photoshop and a lot of other products are available to use on your iPad, even, what is it, Final Cut Pro. But I just cannot stand working on my tablet. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. It doesn't matter if it is the mini size or if it's the huge, what do you call it? The huge iPad Pro. I just cannot. I feel like the iPad and the tablet, the only purpose it serves is for me to watch TV. And to watch movies or something. Like other than that, it should just not be around and instead or not try to use it for everything else. So anyways, what was my point? My point is Lean is supposed to come out with a desktop version this fall. So as soon as they do that, I will do an update inside of Sticker Camp on how to use that. Okay, so let's go over the theme for this month and what's inside your Google AI prompts. So I just thought it'd be a fun time. And, it doesn't matter if you're a writer or not a writer. I think it's just more just about, what does it mean to you? So creative reset can mean a lot of things, maybe just being happier, being able to do something fun without feeling guilty about it, right? So sometimes, you think, I have to learn something or I have to be working towards my goal or something else. And so like last month, I really didn't work towards any goals and I just kind of hung out and did lots of nothing. And for me, sorry, it feels like I have like a little cat hair somewhere on my face. For me, it feels like that was like a really good use of my time. So I just thought maybe you could do the same thing. So, reset activities look different for everybody. Mine involves lots of TV watching, even though it doesn't sound like it, just because sometimes when I watch TV, I feel so guilty about it and like, not shameful, but like I can't enjoy it because I'm like, oh my God, I should be doing something else. And so I think this is like you being able to say whatever you want is a reset activity, not because a book told you to or because you have to do a nature walk. Just, make it something that works for yourself and not something that, will look good on Instagram or something. And then block it out, like maybe everybody's life is different, right? So I will just binge my whole day and just do nothing. But maybe you can't do that. Maybe you can only do an hour, 15 minutes here or there or something else. And then also, sometimes just you don't have to do anything. You could just do a digital detox and that's usually enough instead of trying to do all the things. I mean, it's been a really huge help for me just to have the phone in the other room. One, I never talk on the phone anyway. And two, sometimes I just find myself doing like just absent scrolling and it's not even social media. Sometimes I would just be scrolling something dumb like Redfin. I'm not even in the market for a house or an apartment, but I would be like, let me just look and see what's for sale in, I don't know, Tennessee, which Never planning to visit Tennessee ever. So this is what happens sometimes when you have your phone around. I saw someone else too saying like how their old iPod gave them so much joy, and the whole point of the article wasn't that like iPod was great or something. It's because it was so old. Back in the original days, they were just like MP3 players, and because of that, there was no like there weren't 100 apps. It wasn't like your iPad. You could only listen to music. And your only choice was, am I going to listen to, the Backstreet Boys, or am I going to listen to Poison, or I don't know. Clearly, I really like the 80s and 90s music, but that was something he said too. So, sometimes just being bored is helpful and more creative. And so I don't think any of us are ever bored anymore. Like even just standing, I've talked about this before, standing in line at the grocery store. 2 seconds after standing in line, I whip out my phone. In the old days, you used to look at the magazines, which they still have in certain checkout lanes, or you'd buy, I don't know, some candy you didn't want. So maybe the phone is more preferable to any of those activities. But, it was just a chance to give your brain a break. So these are all things that you could do that maybe just there is no like media opportunity, right? So, I don't know. I can't even think of like the last time I went to a coffee shop and just sat there without a phone or a book or anything else and just kind of like, you know, brainstormed or just chilled out. I don't even know if people do that anymore. Anyways, that was the whole point of the creativity reset. Just a good time to do that. There's really nothing pressing for August. And so I thought maybe that would be a good time to do those things. All right, so let's talk about the monthly agenda. So it's the same if you've never been here before. We just finished doing our theme for the month, and then we'll talk about all of our one goals. I always feel like it's better just to be very focused on one thing for the month. So our sort of overarching thing was just to pick one goal every month instead of 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10. And maybe everything else is just like on a to-do list. And if you get to it, great. And if you don't, you just don't. But just try to focus on one thing only. Now, even though I said that, I did start adding habits. And I want to use the word habit stacking, but that's not correct because I actually despise habit stacking, which is taking something that you love doing and then adding something you hate to try to like stack it together. But instead, like as soon as I I guess the right word is like master or get used to one habit, then I've been starting to add other ones. But I don't want to like take my eye off the ball of my old habits. So I just keep kind of adding them in. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So, if you had to pick one word, and I know sometimes people pick one word for the year, but every month is different and you might have different priorities or you just might change your mind. So, mine has been for this whole year action. There's not a lot of variability in my life right now, so that has helped significantly. But there were years, if you've been around here for a while, that I would change my word of the month every month. And sometimes I would probably think about changing it every week just because there was like something else going on or some other like pressing priority in my life. But I just kind of have found that action is better than motivation, and just doing stuff has always worked out better for me. If it helps you, and it does help me, it's just having mantras that go along with whatever that action word is that you chose, as well as quotes. Something just to kind of help reinforce that word that you chose. Because sometimes I feel like a lot of times, especially with planners, they'll always say, what's your word of the year? Or what's your theme of the year? And it's so exciting to fill it out. And then I guarantee you 2 pages into your planner, like later, you have no idea what you wrote as your theme word. So anyways, caffeine. So I gave up caffeine over a year ago and I still don't miss it. I did really, really miss it in the beginning, but it's been easier here because in San Diego, I could walk to coffee shops everywhere. And, before that, New York and Chicago, you could just walk everywhere. And so here, because I cannot walk to any coffee shop ever, I have really just not, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. And it's just not even a possibility here. So I'd have to drive. And even then, I think the closest one would be Starbucks. And I'm not really, even then, I wasn't like, I'm not anti Starbucks. But I always tried to find like a local or some other chain to go to instead. So that has made it very easy to stick to that habit. No processed sugar. I did have, remember I said no, none. I was like having absolutely none. And then I kind of added some like one thing in a day. And when I say not a day, per month, excuse me. And when I say per month, it's like a big, huge change because I used to have like two or three sugary things every day. Like I'd bake some muffins in the morning and then I'd have a croissant with my latte. And then for dessert later that night, I'd have ice cream. So it's actually made like a huge difference just with everything. I did notice because this month I had more ice cream than just one serving. And I did notice that my anxiety did pick up again. So I do believe, I don't know if it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy or something, but I did notice that my anxiety did increase as my sugar intake did go up. So I'm definitely trying to cut back on that for this month. 4K our 10K Saturdays are still happening. So that's like, it works out well for me because it's like a nice challenge to the running. So at this point, I run, I do a 5K just on the treadmill, not outdoors, like probably 3 or 4 days a week. So it's no longer a challenge. So this way, the 10K on Saturday is somewhat of a challenge, at least for me it is. So, and I know some people do 15s or they do marathons. And so I'm just not like, I could care less about a competition at all. And I never plan to run outside. This is just something for me to do. So, cardio sword fighting. So the gym here has an aerobics room and it's always like packed with tons of activities, right? Because it's like a 55 plus community. So they always have dance classes or stretching or yoga or whatever. Sundays is the only day of the week where that room is empty for like a few hours. So in the mornings, I now do cardio sword fighting. So I have the room to myself, and I have my sword, which, you know, these swords, if you can see them in the picture, they're wooden. And so in New York at Equinox, I don't think they have these in any other city, but in New York, they have just a big bucket of swords and they have 1 pound swords and they have 2 pound swords. And I think mine is only 1 pound. But anyways, it's a really good, I think, upper body workout, like for my back, because I never, you know, those muscles that you use to do a sword, you just don't use those a lot. So the first, and I never get sore, but I will say like the first 2 times I did it, I wasn't sore, but I knew that my arms were kind of like tired, if that makes sense. And then, and now it's back to normal and it's fine. But yeah, in New York, I loved this class. They would have it like 2 or 3 times a week. So I did buy my own when I left there and moved to San Diego. And so that's pretty much the only thing I've kept since I moved was the sword. Anyways, if you would like to try out the sword classes, you can go to powerstrike.com. And I don't know if she still sells the swords, but you can ask her how to get one. But you can for sure buy one class just to try it out. Or you could do the unlimited classes and then they have the replays up for a few days. So yeah, and it does take I wouldn't say a long time. I mean, being like physically in person always helps, especially with the sword and like, you know, facing this way and someone's from behind if they're instructing. But I would say if you just need something new and fun and want to try it out, I think you might really like it. So it is one of my favorite things. I wish I could take it 2 or 3 times a week. Now, having said that, I did fail. I failed for the first time ever in my weight loss goal. So I don't know if it's a lot, but so I started out the month at 135. I ended it yesterday at 135.8. So I'm not freaking out too much about it, but usually I like to be at least a little bit lower to be because my goal was to be under 135, not at 135. So I would just call this a fail. I did stop, like I said, I stopped tracking calories and I did increase my sugar intake last month. So could have been that. And combined with, it's been so hot, I just haven't gone out. I usually go for a walk almost every day after dinner, but it's been 97, 99 degrees. So I just haven't bothered to go out. I also started, I mentioned this before, hormone replacement therapy. So it could be that too. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm trying to stay on top of it, but I'm not freaking out about it. It's been 1 month so far and fingers crossed, it has no side effects. It keeps working. I mean, the best thing ever is that the hot flashes went away. I only had them in June, for the first time ever. And that was enough for me to be like, screw this. I'm just going to try the hormone replacement therapy. I don't even care like all the dangers or whatever they're saying, which probably those studies aren't even, I've read that they're not even correct. So my point is, I've been taking it, no side effects other than the fact that like positive side effects is that I don't have the hot flashes. I also don't have the flu anymore. So, people were talking about like you get fatigued. I don't know who, like maybe people have milder symptoms, but like I straight up felt like I had the flu and I was going to die. Like laying down, falling asleep, feeling awful, and like just, how when you're sick, you just don't feel what for like 3 or 4 days until I finally had a hot flash. So I 100% think it's just related to hormones. And now that I'm back, I've like switched over to hormone replacement therapy to the patch and the pill. It's like totally gone away. So yay. In case you were wondering if you should try it, you definitely should. All right. So book reports. So this month I read Of Monsters and Maybe. This is literally my new favorite book. So this author has only written, I think, one other book. And everyone was talking about this book, and I do like sci-fi. So just to be clear, you probably do have to like I loved Murderbot. I think I mentioned that already. I watched that last month, I sat and watched it in one sitting on Apple Plus. It was so good. It's like funny. It's sci-fi, which is like my perfect combo. I love the Orville. I don't think it's ever coming back. So yeah, I was very excited to see this book. Anyways, it is just about it. Like first I wasn't going to read it because it just sounded so dumb. It was like, it combines Dracula and, if you saw that movie, The Mummy, the guy from The Mummy, like the monster guy with the bugs coming out of him, and werewolves and like all Frankenstein all on a spaceship. And I was like, this is just so stupid. So just like Murderbot, I don't know why, I just didn't want to read it. And then once I did, I was like, I totally love this. But I would describe this book as that TV show Once Upon a Time, but instead of having it in modern times, it is in the future on a spaceship. So what else? Oh, The Hunting Wives. So I always complain, as you know, when I hate podcasts. And the second thing I hate the most is psychological thrillers. I just think they're so dumb. In fact, I think it's because the first psychological thriller I ever read was I can't remember that. It was like The Three Wives of So-and-so. And it was this guy and this girl was like saying how she had to put up with all these other wives, but it's okay because this guy is, a polygamist because that's his religion or whatever. And then at the very end of the book, she's in a straitjacket and the whole thing was made up in her head. And I was like, are you kidding me? I just read this entire book and it was all just a dream, which is 99.9% of all psychological thrillers. At the end, it was all just total BS. Like it was a lie. Like, I don't know why. I just don't like those endings. However, many people do. So The Hunting Wives is a psychological thriller. So I saw that as a book. I never read it. But the TV show is actually really good because it did not have one of those like total garbage endings. It like had a real murderer and a murderer, even though they were lying about it. It kind of reminded me of that movie or that TV show series, Why Women Kill, which I'm still so sad was canceled. But without the humor. So that was Hunting Wives, and it's on Netflix. And it's so weird, though. I do have to warn you, it ends on a huge cliffhanger. I mean, obviously you can figure out who the killer is, but you never find out like what their fate is because I guess that's the new style to get like a second season is you just don't answer any questions for people after the first season. I don't know. I did watch a lot of movies this month. I saw The Amateur, which was new. I love that. Love Again. Now, this came out like 2 years ago. I think I'm like the only one that didn't know it. It has that really hunky guy from Outlander in it, and it has Celine Dion in it. But it was really cute. It's like a rom-com. And then Mistletoe Murder. So I said thumbs down to one and thumbs up to the other. So I'm a huge fan of Cobie Smulders. Obviously, I'm not that huge fan. But anyways, because I can't remember her name. But she has on Audible, like one of those where they kind of play act, right? There's like two voices going on and they're acting out the book. And it had so many reviews, but I was like, I tried listening to it. I couldn't get into it. And then they made it into, I guess, like a TV series on Hallmark. And it was so good. I absolutely loved it. Anyways, those are totally worth watching. And they had like 6 episodes, and then it's like 2 episodes equal one murder, like I guess one overarching murder thing, like episode. But the Audible ones do the exact same thing. So I think that's where the style came from. But there is, if you like it, there is a second season coming this Christmas. So another thing to look forward to in December, in addition to the cooler weather. Ballard, I was really excited about this because it was like a spinoff of Bosch, which I really liked, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. I just didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I just kind of got bored and stopped watching it. Same thing with that other TV show, Duster. I was so excited about that. Same thing. Just, it took them, I know what the problem was with Duster. It like took them forever to like say one statement or make one move. Like every episode, like I don't know why it was designed like that, but we never really got anywhere with any of the episodes. Anyways, Blue Ridge, I thought this was cute. That was new. I just found that. I think they have a second season coming this December too. And Washington Black, I've only watched 2 episodes, but that looked cute. So it looks promising. So anyways, I was pretty surprised. I only watched one Hallmark show this month. There weren't a lot. So yeah, that is July. All right. As you know, I always use this time. It's just so simple and easy to use. It is on your phone. It's on your tablet. You can use it on your computer if you pay the $2.99 per month, which I totally do. I think it's completely worth it. Anyways, so on A-Tracker, because like I said, it was too hot for me to leave the house, even to just like do walks. So my total hours increased by like almost like 20 hours for this month, even though there was only one extra day. So my daily average was 7 hours and 50 minutes of work every day because I just didn't want to leave the house. So hooray for summer. I did post 2 new videos this month. So I posted, because I had a new book come out. So book 4, Bonbons and Burglars, came out. And what else? The new Laurel Denise planner. So I love this thing. It is so nice. It is the vertical pop-up. It has been forever since someone has done something new with like planner designs. So I can't even tell you, this is like so much more useful. Like I use it every single day versus opening a notebook to do planning. I don't know why. I don't do that anymore at all. So this has been like a huge game changer. I'm very excited. It's probably going to be my go-to planner forever. And yeah. Also, I was talking, who was it? Someone else sent out an email saying it was taking them a long time to write a book. It happens. Like that book 4, I had started working on that book, I want to say like 3 years ago, right? And then like the whole like disaster in San Diego happened. So that for sure has been like a novel I've was working on forever. So I was excited to finally release that and have that be out in the world. I did a presentation, as I mentioned in the group, for the Creative Pro group. I'm not really sure what they are. They do magazine. They're very Adobe focused, like Photoshop, Illustrator, like they teach you all the things. And every time there is an Adobe Max conference, they would always have top presenters. I think I wrote an article for them last month. So basically I just made a video called Canva versus Express, and she reached out to me. She's really nice. And she's in San Diego. She reached out to me, not like came to my house or anything, but she just mentioned, I saw your video and, did you want to present and write an article? So that's how that came about. There is, I posted that video for you inside Secret Videos, inside Planner Pixies, if you want to see that, as well as the handouts and my slides, which nobody else got the slides, not even the attendees. So you have all of those if you wanted to breeze through those. However, the quick answer in which one you want to use is Canva. Oh, and I forgot to pick a winner. So we did this Christmas in July. So I don't know if anyone's here is from there, but if you showed up to Christmas in July, where I was doing a free book giveaway, I forgot to pick a winner. So I will do that today inside of the Facebook group. Oh, my phone. So finally, it has finally happened. My phone has died. So I have an iPhone 11, which I love, and I have never upgraded since. One, because every time I upgrade in the past, it's always been a huge disappointment. Every iPad, I'm like so excited to upgrade. It did nothing different. I don't even know why I paid the extra. So, anyways, if your battery gets below 80%, so mine is literally just one percentage at 79%, it's overheating. There's like so many issues. So I took it into Best Buy to just get the battery replaced, which is super cheap. It was going to be like $98. But because the back is cracked, or I guess every time they take it off, they have to replace the back. But the iPhone 11, I guess the way it's set up, the back and the front are like one piece. So it was $600 plus the battery was like another 100. So at that point I was like 700. I'm not paying 700. Luckily, that phone is so old, it has a physical SIM card. So if you don't know what that means, it just means that I can just pop in. I don't know if you remember the old days, but you had a SIM card, you just popped it in a new phone and it automatically worked. So I looked at, so the iPhone 16 is out, right? And then the 17 is coming out in another month if I just wait. But I've decided instead to just stick with the iPhone 11. Works just fine. I don't want to pay the extra just to have the new phone. And honestly, there is literally nothing special about any of the Apple upgrades in like 6 years. 6 years. I don't know what they're doing over there, but nothing is really impressing me except they just keep updating the chip or something. Anyways, I found a supposedly brand new phone on eBay that is an iPhone 11. So we'll see. It's eBay. Who knows? I could get like a stuffed animal giraffe in the box. We just don't know what's going to come in the mail. But that should be here next week. And yeah, I thought about it, and yes, it's $457, but I feel like that's still less expensive than buying the new phone because and I know they have cheaper models, but I like having the bigger screen. So this way I can still have the bigger screen. So what is my Apple ecosystem? So if you ask me like, what are all the Apple products you have? Mine are all still pretty old. So like my MacBook Pro, I bought that right before the new one came out. So I still have the 2019, the 2021 version, the M1 chip, even though they have the M4 right now. My iPad mini, I bought that as well right before the new one came out. And so it can't use the new Apple Pro Pencil, which I don't have anyway. And that works just fine as well. I don't do anything special with that except use a tracker, just like turn stuff on, maybe read a book here and there. And that's pretty much it. And then the phone, again, there's no reason to upgrade. And the Apple Watch, I still have the Apple Watch 6. And right now they're on the 10. I don't see any reason to upgrade. The only thing I would say is maybe the battery, but since I work from home now and I rarely leave the house, it really like needing a longer battery life is just not important. They are having, like I said, in a few states, tax-free day on Amazon. So, I'm not Amazon, sorry, Apple. So I did get the HomePod Mini. Now I do have a sound bar that I got for free. I want to say like 5 years ago, maybe it was 6, and it's been working fine, but it glitches. And so during the Q&A for Creative Pro, it was glitching, and I had to hear her like it was like such an issue. Anyways. So I don't have a lot of video conferencing, but usually when I do, there are issues. So I'm thinking, fingers crossed, the HomePod will be easier because it's one less wire I have to plug in to my computer. It can just connect wirelessly, and it's meant to work with the MacBook. So hopefully my glitching problems are over and I can just use that. The other thing too is my band is black. It's like at the time, like when the Apple 6 came out, the only sort of fabric band you could get was Nike, and it was black. It was like black or black. Those were your fashion choices. But since then, they have come out with white. So here, because the sun is out all the time, and I'm not even out that much, but I'm out enough where I have a really strong tan line. So I'm going to switch over and get a white one. I'm thinking that'll attract less sun, but we'll see. All right, so your goals for the year. So I'd switched formats. So before I used to just pick a new goal, but this year I was like, let's just try to plan out the year and see how we go. So May I failed. July I did finish. Remember I said I was going to pick an idea. I did. I laid out all of my ideas and I have decided I'm going to finish writing a romance. So that book is due mid next month. And then same thing with book 6 in the series, that's due mid next month too. So they're kind of like mid-month goals versus like they're not due right on the 31st because the way the developmental editor deadlines work. So that is still my plan. Now, having said last month that Cozy Mysteries are dead, I'm getting rid of my covers. I bought all these covers, except the bottom right, from my friend Molly. So if you want any of these covers, just message me. They're $100. They can be yours. You can change the title and the author name to whatever you want to see on your book. Same thing, paranormal. I've been holding on to these covers for, I don't even know, 7 years now. I will never write these books. Clearly, I don't like writing paranormal. I don't like writing dark romance. I don't like writing reverse harem anymore. So if you want these were from Lori Grundy. So they're $300 each. Just message me and they are yours. I made these covers. Probably not the best. They were only $50 if you want them. They were supposed to be this whole series when I was like, oh my God, I'm going to write so much reverse harem. And then I just never did because I just wasn't that excited about it. Anyways, these are all $50 each. I think the covers are still cute. So those are all on sale. So my August writing goals, like I said, they're kind of like in the middle of the month. So August 18th, like literally just 2 weeks from now, the romance is due. So I do have to get on that. I think I'm like 25,000 words into it. So do need to do a lot of writing. And then Bullets, Buttercream and Bullets, that is due September 22nd. So if you've never scheduled deadlines with developmental editors, sometimes some of them you can just send it and you can just get on their calendar. Others you have to book it like way in advance. Like the August 18th one is going to be done by Author Buddy. And that one I scheduled like 2 or 3 months ago. And then this one, September, it's with my regular developmental editor. She's done all of the other books in the series. So I did schedule that like a month ago. So those are my deadlines. Like I said, they're not due on the 31st. They're kind of like mid-month deadlines. I plan to hit them because you have to when you have a developmental editor. You can't really push them back. All right, so August first reads. I don't know. I feel like August, like the first reads are always like Amazon's, let's just show you the worst books we have and then force you to pick one of the bad choices among other bad choices. And then they give you a bonus read. So I don't know. I have yet to find, I don't think I've liked any of the Amazon first reads. They're like, eh. So I just went with the romance. It was the only author in here who's written books before. That's not true. Gina Showalter's written books, but I'm just not, like I said, into romantasy. So that's how I ended up choosing that. I don't know why they have 2 women's, like the women's fiction and then they have 2 women's fictions and then a coming of age, which isn't really a YA book. I didn't really understand that. Like coming of age when you're an adult seemed kind of weird. But it's like a mother-daughter thing. So yeah, so those are the Amazon. So since Amazon is always a disappointment, I thought I would add my Everand choices. So Everand changed. I don't know what they did. So it used to be you paid $10 per month for Everand. And for that $10, you got unlimited access to whatever. Well, I don't know if everyone did that and they were like, this is just costing too much or we're not making enough of a profit. They changed it. So now you can only get 3 books per month. And you pay $14. So did I quit? No, it is still super cheap. It is only $4.72 per book. So I only 100% get audiobooks because if I want to read a book on my Kindle, you cannot read it if you bought it through Everand. It does not, you cannot push it anywhere. Like library books, you can push them to your Kindle. You cannot do that with Everand. So instead, I just pick I look through, I think I did a video on this. I look through to see if it's already cheaper on Chirp Books or if it's free or included with, so Amazon Kindle Unlimited has sometimes just audiobooks that are included, usually not the good ones. And so where else do I look? Chirp Books. I guess that's it. Audible sometimes has the book for less expensive or if it's available from the library. If all of those are like untrue, then I will just wait and buy them on Everand. And so anyway, so these are the three books that I bought. The first one, I am not into historical mysteries at all, except this one was narrated by Neil Patrick Harris. And so it's just like a cheeky satire on, it teaches people how to murder somebody. So I know it sounds really weird. It's a dark comedy, but it's very funny. And then Date with Danger is just a cute rom-com. And Murder on Sex Island was a new mystery that came out, I think last month. And it was different because she is a private investigator versus having an amateur sleuth. So I thought that could be fun. So anyways, my advice is to only use them for audiobooks. Don't use ebooks because you only get 3 a month. As you can see, I have nothing going on for August. There is an HR conference at the end of the month up the street, but I am skipping it. What else? I just have one deadline for the month. We have the Monday Eve emails. Don't forget to get your new stickers. And here's the checklist. So that's a wrap for August. Who's here? I didn't say hi. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Tasha. Hey, Karen. All right. I hope everyone is having a fabulous and non-sweaty August, and I will see you guys in September. Bye.